Leo Backer co-founded Pinnacle Partners to focus on Opportunity Zone investments. Since the inception of the Opportunity Zone legislation, Pinnacle Partners has actively been identifying and participating in qualified real estate projects in designated opportunity zones and managed qualified opportunity funds. Hello, Leo. Thanks for coming on with us today.
Hi, Jeff. Good to be with you again. Thank you.
Hey, Leo. Great to have you on.
Hi, Brandon. Thank you so much. Good to be here.
So, Leo, help us understand, how did you get into the real estate market?
Well, it was actually dumb luck, Jeff. I was a senior in college at University of Washington and didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. And I actually met a fraternity brother of mine that was at CBRE at the time and picking up tickets to go to Longacres of all places. That's the old horse track you might remember in the day. And I ran into his boss, John Torrance, at Coldwell Banker in the day. And he told me about commercial real estate. I had no idea what it was other than, being in an office building like a lot of us, but truly did luck into it because it wasn't a big career in the 80s and learned a bit about it. And that's really where it started. Did my research on what commercial real estate was about and focused on it for, several months to find the right firm and landed a job right after college.
Great. Well, you work in opportunity zone areas, so help us understand what opportunity zones are and how they play into our local real estate market.
And really quickly, I'll tell you, so I've been in the corporate real estate world for over 35 years and kind of representing developers and tenants. So, my background is in commercial real estate on the brokerage side. And when these opportunity zone regulations came out in 2017, a friend of mine, Jeff Feinstein, who's my partner now, came to me with these regulations. And it's basically a way to invest in corporate real estate using capital gains. So you can use capital gains by selling stock, real estate, art, and it's a way to use capital gains, and it's a huge tax advantage to do that. So there are approximately 8,700 of these opportunity zones around the country that have been designated by each state. And what you need to do in these zones is you can acquire real estate or a building and substantially improve that asset. You can't just buy a building, say an apartment building, and call it good. This is meant to be to invest in opportunity zone locations for redevelopment or substantial improvement to create jobs and improve these areas. So it was really, meant to add value to certain neighborhoods around the country. And what it's allowing is private individuals with capital gains to really fuel these investments with a really huge tax advantaged way.
Great. And we were blessed that you came in and spoke to my public-private partnership class this last fall, along with a member for the city of SeaTac, and you helped the students really understand some of the benefits and opportunities. So can you share maybe a success story that you've had doing one?
Yeah, and let me tell you quickly what the advantages of investing in an opportunity zone are for an investor. The first, if you have a capital gain event, so you sell stock or real estate, the first thing is you'll have a capital gain event. If you use those gains to invest in real estate, you don't have to pay the tax on that capital gain for 5 years until 2026. So that's the first advantage. Now, the second advantage is you do have to pay that tax in 2026, but if you hold the real estate for 10 years, you pay no tax on the profit in that investment. So it's a huge, incentive for folks to basically take money out of the stock market or in lieu of a 1031 exchange to invest in these opportunity zone projects. So that's really what's fueling, I think, a lot of this equity that's coming into these markets. It's folks, we have a lot of investors that are early stage Amazon executives or a lot of tech companies that have not invested in real estate, and they're now basically selling stock and putting it into these real estate projects, both for diversification, but also for a tax advantaged, real estate investment. Yeah, I was going to say, so success story, our very first project is in Pioneer Square. And when we chose to, basically what Pinnacle does is we bring equity from these Amazon execs, et cetera, into these real estate projects. And there's a project in Pioneer Square, which is the first opportunity zone development in Seattle. And it was 80 workforce housing units right in Pioneer Square that we have built and completed. And as we were ready to lease that project, King County actually approached us to buy that project for a pretty sizable number. And our investors realized a very good return. You have to hold these projects for 10 years to get the tax benefit. But if you sell like we did, you can redeploy those proceeds to another project, which we did, another opportunity zone project in Pioneer Square. So that's one of the first, what we call round trip investments in opportunity zones, because there haven't been too many that have been realized.
Great. So you talked about maybe an advantage, a success story, an advantage to the investor. What's the advantage? Why would a jurisdiction like CTAC be interested in doing an opportunity zone?
Well, I think all jurisdictions, first off, of course, are looking for new development, right? And they're looking for ways to enhance their markets, et cetera. And when times are good, everybody's building and there's a lot of money flowing into these markets. But as like today, when it's getting tougher and tougher to make these projects pencil, land is expensive, construction's expensive, using opportunity zone equity, first off, you have to hold it for 10 years. So it's more patient capital. So they're not these developers coming in and building and flipping and going on to the next one. These are long-term assets that our investors are holding on to. And what we have invested in a lot of workforce and affordable housing. So, those returns are obviously lower than your typical market rate housing, but with the opportunity zone benefits, you're able to show investors more of a market rate return on even affordable workforce housing projects. So that's where I think you've seen most of these projects, at least that we're investing in, are multifamily, in these areas around light rail or cities that need this growth. A lot of universities are surrounded by opportunity zones. These opportunity zones really, you have to meet a certain census tract for income in these household income for these areas. So these are typically areas that are on the edge of a downtown or close to universities that do have lower income census tract. So it is actually allowing development in these areas that typically wouldn't see it.
Got it. Thank you.
So can you tell us more about your Pinnacle Partners and your mission?
Yeah, so we very quickly figured, my partner's a 35-year technology executive, and as I mentioned, I've been in corporate real estate for 35 years. So we like to say we're bringing real estate and tech together to deliver an investment platform for individuals to invest in what we think are institutional quality real estate projects in opportunity zones. So Jeff and Blake Backer, my oldest son, are really charged with outreach to investors. And our goal is to find the best projects in opportunity zones around the country, frankly. Now, we started in Seattle, kind of moved to California, and now we're nationwide with best-in-class developers, allowing access for individuals that have gains to invest in these projects, where historically a lot of institutions would be able to invest in these, or maybe very large family offices could invest. But this is giving access to really a lot of more individuals to invest in these institutional quality projects. So we bring in the equity for these developers, and then we play an active role with them, with major decisions and oversight of these projects throughout the development.
Okay. And do you have a favorite charity you would like to share today?
Yeah, I've been very, active in the nonprofit world through my whole, professional career, and been on several boards. I always like to be on what I call a nonprofit board, maybe a business board, and a youth athletic board. Now that my kids are older, those have gone away. But the charity that I've really spent the most time on for the last over 17 years is the Boys and Girls Clubs at Bellevue. I was on another board in Seattle for many years, Communities and Schools of Seattle, and really gravitated back to the Boys and Girls Club of Bellevue because, number one, it's where I grew up. And number two, a lot of people don't know the need, even in Bellevue, which is thriving, So I've been on our board for, like I say, over 17 years, providing, a safe place for kids and families to put their kids after school, for education, and frankly, a place where they're wanted and needed. And very passionate about the Boys and Girls Club mission. So I remain on that board longer probably than I should, but I'm still very active and enjoy it very much.
Great. Thanks for sharing. So if people want to connect with you more, learn more about Pinnacle Opportunity Zones, how's the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, I would say, our website is www.pinnacleoz.com. My email is leo, Leo, at pinnacleoz.com. And I'm happy with you calling my cell phone anytime at 425-736-6210. And open to talking to folks about, opportunity zones in general, places in the industry. If you're looking for a job in commercial real estate, I'm happy. I've talked to folks all the time about that. So I'm happy for a call or email anytime.
Great. Well, you were very generous with your time with us today, and also coming into our class last autumn to speak with us and share your knowledge. So thanks so much for that.
Absolutely. And thank you both for having me.